Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. And if you're joining us back here this fine Thursday on Facebook, you'll know that it's time for another edition of Teacher Talk. If you are a longtime listener, if you have tuned into previous Teacher Talks, you'll know that one of the things that we love to do is to celebrate innovation, to celebrate partnerships, and to learn more about community opportunities that are all around us. And so today, as we embark on our Teacher Talk, we are talking about a new and innovative program coming out of Sublette that embraces this idea of career pathways, community partnerships, and really engaging our young people in partnership with our workforce. And so we are talking, of course, about the new Sublette Cadet program run through the Sublette Fire Department. And so we have a real treat for all of you as listeners here today. We're going to be talking with 3 of our cadets, as well as someone who has been integral in establishing this program and making these opportunities realities in our own communities and for our students. So without further ado, I'm going to kick off our Teacher Talk today and say a good morning welcome, first and foremost, to Mr. Nick Dingus. Nick is the owner of Dingus Fire Company, but he is also a firefighter. And as I mentioned, someone who has been integral in getting this program developed and up and off the ground. So Nick, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for all that you do and for your service. I was wondering if you might introduce yourself to our listening audience and share a little bit about your fire service and your role at the Sublette Fire Department.
Good morning, Angie. Thank you for having us on today. Much appreciated. So I've been a firefighter and paramedic for the last 27 years. Started my time here in Sublette. I'm lucky enough to be back here as the assistant fire chief today. My family has been in the fire service spanning 4 generations. So my grandfather was a firefighter. My father was the assistant chief who started here in 1957. My brother started in 1983, and then I got involved in 1997. Today, there's, 13 of us from our family that spanned over 250 years of fire and EMS services here in Northern Illinois, and most of that specific to Lee County here in Sublette.
That is quite the history with dedication to helping people and saving lives. And as we mentioned, there is a new program that is coming out of the Sublette Fire Department, and that is our cadet program. So we also have joining us here today on Teacher Talk 3 of those cadets. And so I'm excited to welcome Quentin, Tyler, and Emma to our Teacher Talk platform. I'm going to turn the floor over to them to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about where they're at in their schooling, their plans after graduation, all the things.
Good morning. My name's Quentin. I'm a senior at Amboy High School. I'm still quite undecided about what I want to do after school, but that's why I'm kind of here, just to see if any doors open and see if this is something I want to pursue in the future. I participate in football, basketball, baseball, FFA, student council, National Honor Society, and the cadet training here at the fire department.
Hello, I'm Emma Campbell. I'm a senior at Amboy High School, and my plans after graduation is hopefully becoming a firefighter. And I do track as my extracurricular activity.
Hello, my name is Tyler Huggins. I am a senior at Amboy High School. My plans after high school are to go into the trades, undecisive for what trade I want to go into yet, but I'm involved in football, basketball, and track. I am a 3-year chapter officer for the Amboy FFA, and I am involved in student council.
I'm just going to take a pause and say, wow, the fact that the three of you are so involved in your school and community and are still making time for this cadet program speaks volumes about the people that you are and the calling that you have to better your community. So I'm so excited to hear more from each of you in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I'm going to turn back to you, Nick. We talk a lot about, and I would say it's something that I'm really proud of in our office is that we have a laser-like focus on preparing students for their futures and really kind of focusing on how can we develop these partnerships to make the community our classroom. And a lot of this work comes from the fact that in conversations throughout our three counties and across the state, we know that we have some pretty significant workforce shortages. And that happens for a variety of reasons and in a variety of communities, in a variety of different workforce sectors. So I'm curious, as we embark on this conversation this morning, what does that shortage look like in fire service? And, we are coming from a very rural perspective, which presents its own unique challenges. So can you talk a little bit about that shortage from especially a rural perspective, and how are our cities and communities and even small towns addressing these needs?
Yeah, thank you, Angie, for the question. I think it's something that's really important and needs to be addressed today. That these shortages that we're seeing in the fire and EMS services, as well as law enforcement, are not unique to just the rural area, but we're also seeing it in these large cities. I think what makes it unique in the rural settings is we have a limited amount of resources, meaning human capital and people to choose from. And if we don't get to these young people early on, then I think we've lost them. And I found, even with my own son, who's a cadet in this program that just turned 16, that as these young people get older, they find the extracurricular activities, which is great. They find their next phase of life, which could be school, girlfriend, getting married, or other activities. And we've got to grab them early to get them trained up. A lot of the training also takes a large amount of time and a commitment. When we look at the EMS side, if these young people get into an EMR program, it's over 50 hours of time and education. When they get into an EMT class, it's over 150-hour commitment. And then when we go on the fire side, it's over 300 hours. And as you know, in life, when we get families, it's hard to find that time to make that type of commitment. However, if we can grab these young people early, tie it into their education, whether that be potentially in the future through the Whiteside Area Career Center. We've had meetings with Sauk Valley Community College to be able to also tie in the impact program to help for their further education, and selfishly then utilize these young people in our rural communities. I think that's a win for everybody. The byproduct of that will be that we're giving these young people an opportunity to see there is potentially a career for them in the fire service, which they maybe don't even know exists today. I know Tyler talked about that he's looking at the trades. We look at this as just another trade. The great thing about it is in these small communities, especially the rural ones, we're willing and able to offer the training typically at no cost. So when you think of the educational piece, these young people aren't going to be saddled with maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt immediately. We're going to make them employable at the age of 18 or 19, that they can walk into a firefighting or EMS career job day one. And those jobs today start at $60,000 to $70,000. And they offer a lot of flexibility that not only can they do that shift type work, which today is typically a 24-hour on the job, and then you're off for 48 hours. But you can also work and do something else to help your family along. So I think we've got a lot of work to do. We're pretty proud of what we started here. We're only in our fourth week out of 10. But selfishly, our hope is that we keep these young people after this 40-hour work period, and they can continue to help our communities.
My gosh, that's not a lot. And I will say, not selfish at all. I think that this is a very selfless act in as far as growing our young people and growing our communities. So just really intrigued to know more. You mentioned that we need to get students young and train them. You mentioned the potential for earning in careers after completing this training program, and you talked about the partnership. So I'm interested, what specifically does this cadet program look like, and where did the idea come from? I know there's probably a lot of commitment and moving pieces with this, and I'm sure our listening audience would love to know more.
Sure, I think the idea has been around for a long time. There's been explorer programs that have existed through the Boy Scouts of America. There have been other ones that have been tried, and there are plenty that exist today. What There's lots of things I liked about those programs, and we looked at and are utilizing some of that curriculum. I look back at myself. Was never the best book learner as a student. However, I like things that are hands on, and anytime I can do them, I've always found a way to, I guess, understand it better. So as we put this program together, it's mostly hands-on. Matter of fact, I would say out of the 40 hours that we're doing with these young folks, most of it is out of their seat type of training. Matter of fact, today, I didn't tell them yet, we're going to do some live fire today. So I'm pretty excited about that. But when we look at, again, getting to these young people and making an impact, I feel like the hands-on part of that is something to get them excited, to get that hook in them early, because I think that, as a young 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, nobody wants to just sit in a classroom and not do the hands-on type work. And hopefully this gives them an understanding of what it's like to be in the fire and EMS service, that it is hands-on, but it's also very rewarding. Something I think of note, Angie, is that in the U.S. today, almost 700,000 of our million first responders are volunteer, and those 700 folks protect about 82% of all of the communities in the nation. So we need to replenish our ranks. We need people to step up like we see today. We need them to be part of that 1% that's protecting all of our communities. And I'm thankful for these young folks participating in this program.
That's a pretty powerful call to action right there. And there were a lot of things that you shared that really resounded with me in the work that we do here at our office, although not necessarily grounded in putting out fires, literally, but really kind of tapping into this idea of preparing students for that next step in their lives and in their careers, no matter what that vision might be. So I'm going to turn our focus now over to our cadets who are with us here this morning. And I'm going to start with Quentin. I'm curious, we heard a lot of compelling reasons from the need for first responders to really making an impact in your community, to the earning potential, and the career opportunities after graduation. So I'm wondering, Quentin, why did you want to pursue this cadet program? What piqued your interest, um, and caused you to raise your hand and say, "I'm in"?
I've learned over time, just from like past experiences, there's never any hurt in, always wanting to learn more and, always wanting to explore more. And, um, I've talked to Nick on like personal time, just, he's talked about the fire service and, what goes into it. And, um, he brought up like the bond you make with the people you go to work with, and, the hard work you have to do every day. And, he explained the hands-on aspect, and, that's something I'm always been into, just as a kid. And, I thought I'd try and give the program a try.
I'm I'm wondering, even if you decide not to pursue fire sciences after you graduate as a career, how has that hands-on experience that you've experienced so far help point you on a potential career path or help you think about success later in life?
It kind of just teaches you, whether you're into it or not, I guess, or if it's something that you'd want to pursue later. Just getting those experiences make you know if that's something you'd want to be doing in the future, I guess.
Well, that's wonderful. Sometimes we say that, half the battle in figuring out what you want to do when you grow up is figuring what you don't want to do when you grow up. So I agree with you. Those hands-on experiences are so important, and it really probably puts you right in the boots of the people who are first on the scene to respond to fires and other emergencies. Emma, this question is for you. Um, same kind of question that I asked Quentin. What compelled you to say, I'm interested in this program. I really need to be a part of this?
I'd like to be in the service field, and this program provided an opportunity to see firsthand if I have a passion for firefighting.
So we mentioned kind of those career opportunities after you graduate and after you've completed this program. What, as a result of your participation so far, what kinds of career opportunities are you perhaps looking forward to as a result of participating in this program?
Um, Hopefully going to a firehouse, a full-time firehouse after I graduate and getting my EMT license.
Okay, Tyler, you have completed several hours of this program. How do you see it benefiting you? And not only you, I guess I should ask the peers that you're sitting with and those that we don't see on camera here this morning.
I feel like this benefits me and my peers in a lot of ways. We get good leadership out of this. We get good hands-on experience and good communication skills.
Those are really essential skills. So I'm glad that you highlighted those. One quick follow-up question for you. When you think about this opportunity, really, this is just a really great, it's a great preparatory program, but it's also wonderful career exploration. So when you think about previously, before you committed to the cadet program, and you think about what you've experienced now, why are those career exploration opportunities like this so important to you in your future?
They're important to me because even if I don't want to like go into the firefighting, then the experiences that I've learned so far and what I will learn up to come will help me out in the trade schools.
I love that. So before we wrap it up, I have two questions for Mr. Nick Dingus. Number one, walk me through, because I'm curious. I've heard a lot about. I heard live fire, and then you had me at live fire. So what kinds of activities? What is a typical weekend, or what does a typical day for these cadets look like? What are they doing?
Yeah, so the program is running every Sunday from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. With that, we ask them to be here at 12:45 to make sure that they're early, and we want to make sure they're not late. There's no cell phones. We made that clear from the beginning, that we want to make sure that we're giving everybody ample attention. A neat thing about this program is from Sublette and Amboy, we've probably had 20 to 25, actually maybe even closer to 30 folks that have gone through either the Sublette Fire Department or the Amboy Cadet Program over the last 20 years that are now career fire service professionals or are in law enforcement or are dispatchers. And we're bringing them back. So each week we have at least one guest coming in, helping with this program. I think that's pretty fun. And then each day or each week is a building block on the next skill. So far they've learned about their PPE. They've learned to wear an SCBA, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus, and protect their lungs. We've done ropes and knots. Last week we did wall breaching. They chopped holes in roofs. And this week we're going to move on to water supply and do some fire orientation where they're wearing their PPE, they're wearing their respiratory protection, and it'll be the first time that they're in live fire. I will say, Angie, on Saturday, March 15th, we're going to put them through a flashover scenario, and we would love to welcome Angie Garza to be part of that. So that we've got some fire gear we can put you in, Angie, and yeah, we'd love to have you sharing that experience with the students if you're up for it. So just mark your calendar, Saturday, March 15th, Angie Garza from the ROE 47. We would love to host you.
That might be a really interesting way of celebrating my culminating my birthday week. So I'm not sure what all of that entails, but
An experience I guarantee you'll never forget.
okay. I will take your word for that, and I will mark my calendar to I'm sure my family would love to probably see that as well. I'm not sure what all of that entails.
Yeah,
But thank you for the invitation.
yes, it's going to be fine, Angie.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the reassurance. Well, so many wonderful hands-on experiences for these young people. Where do you see, or where would you like to see this program grow?
I think the most important thing for me is whether it's in business, life, or family, that either we let things happen or we make it happen. And I know for years we've watched the decline of volunteerism, whether that be in the fire EMS services or all the other community organizations. And we felt compelled to start this program and give it our best shot. Is it going to be perfect day one? We don't think it is. However, we do feel that this is a building block that we can learn, we can tweak, and then work with and partner with other agencies within Lee and Ogle County, as well as LaSalle County, that we can help other fire departments, we can help other EMS agencies, we can tie in the educational piece, as I talked about earlier with Sauk Valley. And we'd like to also potentially incorporate the WAC program into this. And then as we finish up this 40-hour class, have them start working toward that OSFM certification, which is the Office of the State Fire Marshal, and get their basic firefighter one, and then move them on to an EMT program, which again will make them employable as soon as they want to enter the career of a fire service professional.
That's so in the spirit of everything that we value and have been working toward, and we would be happy to partner with you on some of these efforts. So wonderful partnerships, wonderful program, wonderful opportunities for students to grow and protect and sustain our communities. If I am sitting here, Mr. Nick Dingus, as another community entity, whether that's from education or whether that's a community service perspective, and I want to know more, or maybe I'm a student and I'm thinking, gosh, that I would really love to do that. Where can I go? Who can I talk to? How do I get more information on this incredible program and opportunity?
Yeah, you can reach out to me personally. You can email me at dingus599@gmail.com. Or every week we're documenting what we're doing here in Sublette, and it's at the Sublette Fire Department. So we're putting reels together. We're showing what educational pieces we're doing every week, and you can message us and we'll give you more information. We hope if this one is successful that we'll do another program within a year, and again then move them on to the basic firefighter certification as well as an EMT basic certification right after this.
This has been an incredible and very informative teacher talk for me this morning. So as we close out our time here together on Teacher Talk, I want to say a very special thank you to our guests this morning, learning more about the program that is building future firefighters and first responders, the Sublette Cadet program out of the Sublette Fire Station. So special thank you to our cadets, Quentin Leppelman, Tyler Huggins, Emma Chandler, and also thank you to our fearless fire leader here on the call this morning, Mr. Nick Dingus, who is the owner of Dingus Fire, as well as a firefighter and the assistant fire chief at the Sublette Fire Department. Thank you all for all that you do, for your service, for your interest in this budding program and serving our communities, and thanks for your time this morning here on Teacher Talk. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank you, our viewers, for tuning in for this edition of Teacher Talk. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, a beautiful Friday, a safe and sunny weekend, and we will see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.